Welcome to the Old World Fanatics, your Warhammer fantasy podcast to quench your hobby thirst for all things the old world. I'm one of your hosts, Gummo, joined as usual by Andrew and Josh. How's everyone going? I think Andrew's a bit staticky.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I did my internet speed test. It's going good, but
yeah, no, the audio is fine, man. It's something with the video,
the
but
camera.
We'll soldier on.
Yep.
Episode 85, guys. How is it? How are you feeling?
Yep.
You feeling old yet?
Can
you see the big 100
old
coming?
In the podcast world. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow! Yeah, imagine.
It's getting up there. Wow. Anyway, cool. Well, we are back to talk about, if you've seen the title, I don't know what it'll be yet, but it's probably going to be something to do with being Square-based because we are leveraging their content they've pumped out the last couple of weeks.
Just completely piggybacking on it. Shameless.
Yeah, told Val we would. But no, well, they did the cool survey and we haven't had a chance to, how good was last week with Carl? We'll get into that in hobby. But yeah, with him
Have you
last
started
week.
have you got your brush out yet?
We'll see. Maybe. We'll see. Might be. Might have cranked it up.
Inspiration.
But with that, and then we did all that comp stuff, which we did touch, the Renegade pack because it just came out. But as a result, I haven't actually got back to looking at some of the survey data that they'd put out. And then I think they put a second video out. So I didn't really watch it. I think you guys sort of did the same thing. You started to watch it, didn't watch it all. So I wanted to have a chat through it, and I screenshotted all the PDFs just so we can have our take on the state of old world, I guess, seeming as we're probably the premier leaders of old world content outside of Square-based. That's true. That's
a big call there, Gomez.
Yeah, that's right.
Very big claim.
South of the equator. Is that right? Are we even that? Maybe not, but who cares?
I'm not sure we are. We're certainly right up there with 85 episodes.
We turn up weekly.
Every week without fail.
Yeah, that's right.
Even during Christmas.
At least in the top 20, I reckon. Top 20.
Yeah, top 20. That's fair.
Yeah. So, it's just we wanted to catch up on those couple of things. As our, I guess, main topic, although if one goes longer, it'll be in the second half. You know the drill, people. Second half of the show, the patrons get their personal shout out from us. We do hobby patron questions and our hobby and all the other sort of random hobby stuff in the second half. But the first half, we just jump right into it. But before I do, I will just remind you, if you haven't subscribed on YouTube yet, do that. Comment on our videos, please. Hit that, alert button, get the algorithm working. But if you're listening to us, you can always leave us a 5-star review over on whatever podcast stuff you're using. And check out our Patreon at patreon.com/oldworldfanatics because as you'll see at halftime, you get that cool shout out. These guys, these guys keep us going, don't they? And I finally got all my accounts sorted, on Old World Fanatics. And we're not really in the red. We're barely in the green, but we're leading the green. So at least
we are.
we're not really using our money. It's definitely the support of our community to keep it going. So big thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
It's just keeping that big pile that we sleep on, the big pile of money, just helps keep that fluffed up.
That's right.
How many gyros would it have been?
Oh, that's right. We can buy at least 2 boxes now, I reckon. So Andrew needs to get. I'm happy to start buying that. Maybe with a generous discount from Element Games or Gap Games if you're listening. They haven't answered my emails, but they should be. Yeah, we should have some sponsors here. Anyway, let's get on to before I offend too many people. Do you want to do the survey first? Because that's sort of the newest for us, hey, because we haven't actually gone through it. We went through the Renegade one slightly last week.
I'm going to crack on into it. Enough preamble.
I flicked through it. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, like when I say flicked, like as in like I just sort of flicked through the
video.
YouTube.
Yeah. Cool. Let me bring up one slide at a time if I can. That's probably not even working. I don't know what it's doing.
So we can have some context to this. So
that's a good point. We should hang on. I'm just still trying to fight bringing. Why is it not giving me one at a time? Because I'm pressing the wrong button. That's cool. Don't worry. Ignore me. Is that big enough? Can you guys see that, or do you want to make it a bit bigger? try to. That's probably pretty good.
That's really good. That's really good.
Okay. Yeah, so the context of this is, as far as I know, unless Josh, do you know more about it? Do you want to give it a...
No, go for it. I'm not sure.
So,
do you want to move this banner from Andrew's head?
Sorry. I moved it when he was down. Really need to work on the layout.
Oh, it's so much better with it there. Yeah,
it just doesn't work. There we go.
There he is.
Yeah. So the background, as far as I understand, and if you've watched the videos, you know what this. I think they basically... Val obviously ran Squarebase Online Tournament 1, 2. I think 3 is in the works now. Each time they've done that, they've then given a survey to the players just to get, the gauge. The first one was more around, as far as I understand, just the running of the online tournament. It was a 100-player tournament, biggest one, that's been run. The second one had more discussion a little bit around the general state of the game. And then when that came, but it was only to the players, but it was really useful. They had like whatever it was, a couple hundred players in that sort of tournament. And so then Val just went, well, bugger it. And then he had thought of a million other, well, not million, but, lots of other questions that'd be useful.
Yeah.
And then he threw it up on the, the old world. Was it Warhammer : the old world? There's like 2 different groups that are almost the same on Facebook. Plus a bunch of, Discords and Reddit and stuff. And basically got, interestingly, kind of funny, probably close to the same amount of players that are on old world rankings. So 4,500 players or people who have at least answered the survey. I assume they play the game. And then they've compiled all this. And I know they're going to be doing more, and then eventually they'll give us the raw data. But until then, we're allowed to screenshot it and just give our own take, I guess. So that's sort of the background. Sort of cool to see this, and hopefully Games Workshop listen a bit, but who knows. Anyway, that's the background. Let's get into it. So obviously we didn't do any of these questions and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, we'll link to the YouTube videos if you want to go see their view on it. So this is just defining old, which is kind of funny, meaning how old is everyone? 82% of respondents were between the ages of 25 and 44, with more 18 to 24-year-olds than 45 plus, i.e. we're not... I don't know if I should take offense to this, but we're not all model railroad enthusiasts yet.
No.
So, yeah. What do you guys think about those numbers? Are they what you thought?
Surprised.
Or surprised so far?
Well,
the 45. I thought there would have been plenty of people in that almost sub 50 region, like 45 to 50. Like I thought that would have been a demographic that would have been a lot more pronounced than what it is.
Yeah.
But isn't there more 45 plus than 18 to 24s?
Oh, when you add it up, technically. You don't know 40. Well, it's 35 to 44. A bit hard to know.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think Andrew's saying like he probably expected more 45s even plus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Me too. I would have thought that would have been in 25% sort of territory or something around there.
Yeah. Now, this could be explained further down as we get into some other ones, but in hindsight now I look back and think maybe it's probably right because, like a lot of the podcasts, like when we used to listen to 8th, when I was in 8th, there was a lot of podcasts and all that stuff. And, obviously people like the Dwellers and stuff, but they were probably all in that younger age bracket, They sort of don't realize you're 10 years older than them. And then suddenly now they're in that 35 to 45 bracket.
Yeah.
Getting there, So it probably isn't a surprise in hindsight, but yeah.
No.
Maybe it's just the technology, Well, maybe the old people just can't be bothered. It's like online bloody survey.
I can't remember. Did you guys remember? Because I remember when it first went up, like it was a Google one, wasn't it? So you had to put an email in, which I think was valid technically, but I don't know if they changed that. But I remember that was one of the first whinges that you usually would get. So I wonder if that knocks some people off. But yeah. Look, I mean, the positive thing straight out of the bat is I think you want that 25 to 34-year-old range, don't you? Because, look, no one's spending money at 18 to 24, so you don't care. But you would like them, but you do want that 25 to 34 because I think once they're finished their busy world, kids, all that stuff, they end up in playing, you know what I mean? They stay in it. So
yeah, well, you know that there's a generation behind you of, coming up.
Yep.
Which is good.
And there's a lot of room up there when we're at the top to increase those big ones when we're sitting around retired and just playing war games and not model railways.
And not a railway Tracy. Yeah.
I'm in that sad bracket now where I'm falling into those higher brackets because I'm 45.
I'm not too far off that 45.
So I'm noticing that when I fill out forms and stuff, I'm like, oh, they've done it that way. I'm in the top one now, or yeah, it's funny. Anyway, not top one, but like moved up.
Yeah.
Top 10 countries we have. I guess it's colours. I'm not going to read it all out, but basically we've got. Oh, geez, this is actually hard. The colours are weird. So I'm guessing that's United States and United Kingdom, correct? And then Canada. Yeah, okay, it's in line. Okay,
I think it's in order.
Yeah, United States, United Kingdom are right at the top, and then Canada
way ahead
and
of everyone
Australia kicking well above their weight there. And then Germany, Poland, Sweden, Spain, it drops off. Now, having said that, I think these guys mentioned it, and I would agree. This is an English survey, so you'd be hard-pressed to say it's not massive. Germany must be bigger than Australia, and stuff like that, for sure.
Yeah.
But they're just probably not filling out this survey.
Yeah, no, you definitely got to bear that in mind in terms of the people that are actually following this survey.
It's so ironic. Like these numbers match exactly to, again, old world rankings in terms of the number of tournaments, number of players in each of those regions. Those two dwarf it, and then Canada and Australia are next. It's so weird. But yeah, look, no surprise, obviously, United Kingdom, the builders of it, and then obviously US is the number one amount of players around, at least, as I said, unless we don't know all the numbers, so it's not surprising. They had the European game question here. It's basically a pie chart with the breakdown again, basically at continent level, I guess. So Europe 59%. I'm assuming they're including UK in that.
Apparently, UK are in the EU again, based on this.
Okay, right. Okay,
Isn't it?
I'm assuming they're in there. That's what it's saying. It's European games. It's that side out there. Then North America, Oceania.
Yeah.
And so that again, how does that map back with? Well, I guess it does when you start adding Poland, Sweden, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's twice as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asia 1%, which we don't know. I mean, is it? Yeah, this is the thing. This is the interesting thing. It'd be very interesting to see if Cathay bumps that up or if we just aren't even getting that intake of players. I mean, do you guys even know if Games Workshop have shops? I mean, they got it in Japan, but
okay.
I've seen some hobby shops around when I've been in Malaysia, pretty rare, hard to find.
Yeah.
And it is a hobby that people do a little bit over there, but
I just think this is representative of the survey. I reckon that just went out to those Englishy groups.
I think the real numbers wouldn't be 1%. It's a self-selecting population.
Yeah,
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Oops, sorry, went the wrong way. These are the cool ones. So respondents are feeling it. In the last year, would you describe Warhammer the Old World as the tabletop game you spent the most amount of time engaging with? And 65% said yes. So again, not surprising given who answered the survey. But
I am surprised by that. Like I actually thought it would be higher.
Okay, right, yeah.
So
does that mean
if you're engaged enough to run the survey, and it is a hobby that does force you to engage with it, otherwise it's hard to. I don't know. It requires a lot of dedication to play it.
Yep.
I would have. Yeah, I reckon the people that are taking the survey, I actually would have guessed it'd be close to 3/4. Okay.
Do you think that means these people would have, because it's a tabletop game, those 35%? There might be some of them who just answered it wrong in the sense that they're like, I didn't do any other tabletop game, but I wasn't engaged with Old World. So they, that might be an issue there. But if they were doing another tabletop game, do you reckon these are they 40K players? Are they AOS? Are they 9th? Do you reckon? I mean, obviously it's a mix, but
Yeah.
Is there any
that we're playing more than playing the old world, but also playing the old world? I reckon.
Well, probably more like they were playing the others, yeah, and then they're starting to. They got their feet wet, but they're not really jumping in it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I think Andrew, you played Guy the other day, and he plays a lot of 40k. doesn't
Same
he?
with Cam.
Yeah.
I think you got to think that all right. The old world's probably poached people from 40k who probably still would describe 40k as their primary game, even though they might play old world maybe the same, if not more. But I think just from a mindset, it's still a new game. So a lot of people, that's just my take on it. They're probably like, oh, I've been playing 40k for the last 10 years, sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think 40k is probably the most likely source.
I think so. Yeah.
I haven't
only because I think it bled people there too. I think people left 8th. Like I don't know if there'd be a lot of people who left 8th and stayed in AOS. I reckon there would be. Don't get me wrong, but I reckon there'd be people who went to 40k because it was competitive straight out of the box, whereas AOS had to go through all that heartache.
Yeah.
Or they just went off into other stuff.
Yeah, true. AOS was very, very unformed when it first came out. They didn't have any points. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it was a freaking
absolutely. I think we all tried it.
Oh, embarrassment. Yeah. Probably because I've never actually played a game of it. So anyway,
haven't you? Okay.
No. No.
Oh well.
Old school was horrendous. It was.
Yeah.
Like first edition, Age of Sigma was pretty shit.
Hypeness level. There's no actual
hypeness level in the last year.
Do you want to explain that one? Can you read that?
What? Yeah, so what 70% of all respondents are more hype. Wait, hold on. I'm a bit confused how to break down. And then what is it? About the same is 22%, and it is less hype is only 8%. So most of the respondents are more excited.
Is that what it means? Yeah, I think so. About the same. It has increased. It has declined. Okay.
Yeah.
More hype. And then 73% of Square-based listeners are more hype versus 63% of not. Okay, so a little bit of the hashtag stay base. So basically, the good thing is 70% of the overall are more hype than, I guess, from launch. So they're getting more hyped as more things come out. But obviously, if you're a frequent listener of Squarebase, you're more hyped than the other ones, which again doesn't surprise me. But that's good. It's keeping up the hypeness level, if that's what they say.
Even the same, like to me, like the same. I mean, the game came back. That was crazy that it came back. Like to me, that was so much like when it came out. So if I was going to stay the same, I'd be happy with that. Like,
true. Because it hasn't disappointed then either.
That's
then,
thumbs up.
You're like,
both of those.
Yeah. No, it's good.
I'm surprised there's so much more increase than stay the same almost. Like there was so much hype at the start. There was a mega amount of hype.
I wonder what
that's interesting.
Is that more people coming in? Is that people getting the feeling that it is getting bigger? Because on one hand, you sort of think, okay, you get these lulls of releases, but I think that's just because we get spoiled. I think everyone's spoiled with the release cycle of GW. Like if you've been in 40k, if you've been in whatever, you're getting stuff all the bloody time. And so if you're staying in old world now, and then you get all that stuff at the beginning, we were talking like when was it Dwarves to Chaos was this massive. Was it that one? Was it just like it was months or something?
I think that was the big one.
And it just went, oh, what are they doing? But like at the end of the day, that it's still just there's so much more still coming out, and has that kept people? I don't know. Like you can't even get to. Well, we can't even get a weekend to run a tournament, basically, because we're in Australia. Like there is a lot of events on, and I think that's starting to build exponential. It's not linear. It's taken off really. Like it's never going to be the 40k. I'm not saying that, but
no.
You can see these ones getting bigger. And is it is it Adepticon? It's this weekend or whatever. I think their team, they're like what's it called? The not teams. What's it called when you got two players? Fucking hell, my brain's dead on a Monday night. Doubles. They have 100 and something people, 100 and something doubles teams playing in Old World. this. I think it's at Adepticon. So
Wow.
that's
Wow.
200 and something players, which is pretty cool.
Well,
So
Old
That's
Hammer.
insane.
I know it's not big, but Old Hammer, the Winter March, it basically just got sold out almost straight away. Like,
yeah.
they probably put more tables on it, but it was just like, it was all right. It's coming out, gets announced. Here's Facebook page, sign up. It was just bang. It's like,
bang.
oh yeah.
And they're running them. They run every like 6 weeks now, or something like that, or it seems like it. So 8 weeks.
Yeah, they got the offshoots from. I think it's like Old Hammer, and then there's
2+1s.
like another.
Yeah.
The other one that they run. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, no, I mean, and the armies aren't even all out. Like, what's going to happen when it? Yeah, I don't know. This is good. It's exciting. Now I'm getting hyped.
Yeah.
This is the interesting, surprising amount of new players. Did you play Warhammer Fantasy? 23% said no. What do you think of that number?
That is surprising. That's a huge amount.
I think, yeah.
People that come in cold, basically, having not played 8th or anything. I mean, I guess 8th was, 10 years ago when they killed it?
It's
9
scary.
years ago.
Yeah.
Which is scary. But that is quite incredible because the whole game is quite heavy to pick up from cold and learn how to play it.
But look at the other cool stats. 31% of North American players are new to fantasy. So the biggest market, at least, from what we were seeing there, well, we want to just bump that, has 31%. That's almost a third of the players are new.
Yep.
In one of the biggest markets. That's very healthy. Because let's be honest, the tabletop, I mean, I don't know. I'm just comparing about, like, if you run a business, a software business or whatever, you're not getting, unless you're in startup growth mode, you're not getting like that many new players. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't expect, you have this amount of, you try to get a fairly low churn, and so your incoming sale, like, you don't need that many, but this is like 30. If you were getting 31% new every year, whatever it is, I mean, that's freaking huge. And then 40% of new players come from that 18 to 34. So that's obviously healthy, like you're saying. If you can get that younger gen, get them hooked. It's drugs, isn't it? You just stay in it.
That's interesting, that stat. Like, because the other way you could look at it is that 60% of new players are 35 or older, which is good. Quite a large amount.
Yeah, and they have more money, and they're
true. That's one way to look at it.
No. That's a really good point. I love swinging it on the head like that. That's really good, man. Yeah, that's interesting. Now this is probably where some of this stuff comes from. So the old world players love Total War. So did you play Warhammer Total War? 70. Have they got the actual stat there? Yeah. Is it 77? Is that what that is? It doesn't look like 77 though. Oh no, that's different. So it's at least 70. I'm guessing 3%, 72%. 72.5%.
Yeah,
did play
just over 70.
Yeah, Warhammer Total War, where what it was 30, whatever the balance is, didn't. But of new players, only 5% more played Total War at 77. Where are the new players coming from? Interesting. Okay, so they're saying Total War has brought a little bit of the newer players more than normal, but there's obviously a lot of people who just played Total War. Which doesn't surprise me. I'm in that no bracket, but still, that's not Warhammer Total War's fault.
Right.
It's so good.
I just never got my head around.
Missing out, Gomer. Missing out.
Never played Age of Sigmar. Never played Total War.
Someone needs to teach me how to play. That's the problem. I just can't. I don't have the patience.
Yeah.
I don't play games, so I guess. Anyway. Again,
I feel like it is
not Total War's fault at all.
It's a type of game that is attractive to the type of gamer that plays Warhammer Fantasy tabletop stuff. Like, I don't know, it attracts the same sort of propensity.
Yeah.
And when you have something that's themed for Total War, because I wouldn't have played Total War without the Warhammer version.
Nah.
Okay, so none of you played like Rome or whatever it was called, just
No.
the whole total.
No.
Okay, because that was my
Maybe-
issue. I got it and I just didn't get how the whole mechanics
Yeah.
work that much and just didn't bother pushing through.
Yeah, no, my brothers played it, but I didn't find it interesting. But as soon as the Weapon one came out, I was like,
Yeah.
this is cool. Let's serve this. Let's do it.
Obviously, I
is.
got it. I downloaded. I think I got the second one, and then but I never actually. I wouldn't say I played it. You know what I mean? Which it's cool. Whatever. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Like, it's not like there's a massive swing of the new players all played it and all the young ones. Has it got the age ones? No. Maybe it is somewhere else. I wasn't sure if, like, what's that age group coming in of the ones, but he's saying only 5% more played it. So it's pretty negligible. You know what I mean? It's just lots of people played it, 75% or whatever, and it's not unexpected, but it's not where everyone came from. So interesting. What matters most? Percentage of people who rated these topics are 4 or 5. I guess it's like a Likert scale, which is like 0 to 5 or whatever. And this is like what matters to you about the game and the old world. And so it was building and paintings is the most, only just, but I mean massively
building
important.
and
Like
painting,
80. I mean, that's
just over 80. Yeah.
Yeah. And then over 80 again is quality of rules and gameplay. It's so funny, those two. It's like they're like probably the hobby or the competitive side. And it's like bang, just as important.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it would be interesting to see what the overlap is there between people as well. But yeah, then the third one is what lore, which is like only like 10% less, like just above 70%. Is the importance of the setting and the immersion and the story behind the characters and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then discussing the hobby with others is 4th place, which is I find that interesting. That's up at 70%. I guess it shows how social a hobby is.
It's so funny, isn't it? Do you reckon like when people see the hobby, at least if they walk in your house and see it or whatever, they think it's like some closet nerd thing where you sit. You know what I mean? Like it almost looks like a solitary hobby.
Yeah.
Like would you say,
a
train collector, model collector is an introvert or an extrovert? Everyone's going to go, they're introverts. They don't, they're sitting in a shed but it's actually, this is like blowing it out of the water going, Like, yeah, it wouldn't survive if it was just solitary at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all. It's different. It's such a different hobby to. I don't want to pick out a specific modeling type hobby because a lot of them are social. But I think it's always because the end. I mean, specific. I won't say it in particular because I don't want to offend anyone. But with Warhammer particularly, the end game is always generally to go out and play with someone else with the game. Like it's pretty rare to just be in the hobby purely for painting.
But even if you were painting, you'd have to be pretty like insular to not converse about your painting, share your painting, get tips of other people. Do you know what I mean? Like even that would be hard to do. We're just sitting there and just painting away and not talking. Like, there would be people that do it, but
yeah. Especially to keep you invested in it, whereas if you're just painting and that's all you're doing, it wouldn't be as engaging. But yeah, it's interesting that's above the number, what's the 5th on the list, which is just 62%, which is writing army lists. Like that's a pretty big part of the hobby. Then what's the numbers?
Do you think that means more like? Do you reckon the people who went for that are the gamers versus quality rules and gameplay could be the narrative gamers still, and they're not sitting around writing army lists. They're just like, cool, I've got 2,500 points in my cupboard. I am gonna play to a points value, but we're playing a narrative game. I don't really sit there because I would even argue I'm almost in that point where I don't do what Andrew does, which is you probably write 10 times the amount of army lists that I do, I reckon. Easy. Do you know what I mean? Like you're scheming on army lists. So I usually go, I got a game coming up, better throw something together. Yeah. But it obviously is still massively important there at 60, whatever it is, 66.
Yeah, it's still scored reasonably high, and very similar to reading or watching content about the hobby.
It's good
the
for
second
us.
last one. Yeah. Want that to be there. And then it really drops off at the end.
Mm.
What, 25% for attending events?
Yeah.
Surprising.
Really? That's a massive drop.
Mm.
Yeah. I would have guessed it would be the lowest. 'Cause, I mean, it's such an investment, isn't it?
It is.
And it's also
It
the
is.
most scariest part because, yes, you can still converse. You can be on Discords. You can chat. But if you're in a place where you don't know people and you rock up, yeah, it'd be different if there was different types of events. Like if Warhammer was throwing, if Games Workshop were doing like heaps of games days where there's like, displays and stuff like that, people would go to those things. But when you're talking about a 1 or 2 dayer, they're still quite intimidating.
They are. And I think we've had numerous occasions through the year. Can I say with plural? Year and a half we've been doing this. Is that we do get the occasional person sort of pop up and go, oh, look, I went to my first event because, hear you guys talking about it. It didn't seem so scary. I went out and it was actually really fun kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that are like that are just, they rather just, do the hobby with the people they know and not worry about going out and seeing the greater community.
Yeah, 100%.
But it is a really cool part of the hobby that's always there. Well,
definitely.
No, 100%. Now, the only thing is here, when you look at this, I reckon one of them stands out as being massively under, what do you call it? Games Workshop's not doing their best job at, I think, right now for Old World specifically. I don't know. What do you think? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
You talking about number 2?
No, I'm actually talking about number 3.
Number 3? Oh,
yeah. Like,
cool.
I think
the law.
I just think this is telling us people here that people actually want to know about the law, and given that they've changed the time zone, not time zone, what's it called?
The time period.
Period. That's it. Yeah. I think they've done a pretty shit job. I'd give them a fail over the first year and a half. I wouldn't give them a fail.
Is there only
on
one novel?
Rules.
One novel not enough for you?
There's one novel, and you will say, okay, yes, they've got arcane journals and stuff, but you got to admit that, like, the content in those things is I'd say grade 10, 11, 12 quality in terms of writing and length. Like, it's not in the age of AI. It's not. I wouldn't say it's deep by any means. Do you know what I mean? Like,
almost throwing.
No, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying, like, people are after it, and I'd even say it's more, I don't know, the quality of the rules is obviously starting to become questioned. There's issues, but I don't think that's, that fuck every game they've made's like that. So it's like whatever. But the law needs to catch up.
The law. That's a good point. That's a good point. For sure.
Most recent edition that you'd played. I think that's what it said. Like, it was like something like, what one's the most? Yeah, I'm trying to think how that was worded.
Yeah, it depends how that's worded. That really.
Yeah, now I'm trying to remember. Important. Like, as in you mostly played, or just literally the most? What was the last game you played? That might have been a bit skewed a bit. I can't remember. Yeah. So I just noticed this. I love the 1% up there. 3rd edition.
3rd edition.
I'm assuming one of the other ones might have been even less. I don't know.
Funny how 3rd edition's there, and the other one must have been 4th ed or 2nd ed or something hiding in there.
Maybe it's just like Do you reckon WAP would have been on there?
Oh yeah,
it would have been, but it must be maybe that red. I don't know if
I reckon
probably just how this is rendered.
Because if 9th age is very similar, like WAP and 9th age were probably close.
Yeah, I think that it felt like that a little bit. Yeah. I think this was worded in a way what was the one you mostly played, because I feel like I don't know, because I feel like 7th ed can't have been that big compared to 6th ed, but maybe I'm wrong in terms of
it's
like,
a big
do you know what I mean? Like,
pie.
It seems like 6th and 8th were being played, and 9th and 7th wasn't, but that is a big slice. So I wonder how it was worded.
Yeah, no one was really playing, unless they were talking about playing 7th ed rules with 6th ed books or something, because no one was really playing the 7th ed army with army books, because they were just absolutely completely skewed in terms of power levels.
No, I can't remember Yeah, I answered
So unless these are
can't remember
some
what the
literally
question
people that
was.
have come back to playing
Yeah.
the old world from playing
That's
Sevens
why I think
back.
the
when it
purpose.
was
Surely that's the
originally.
purpose of the question. So that's why I'm thinking I might have answered this. I might have said ninth age at the time. I can't remember. Do you guys remember how you answered it? Did you answer this? Didn't even bring that up.
No.
Oh, okay. So two out of the three of the biggest Warhammer podcast, old world podcast, didn't even
In
contribute.
the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, yeah. In
I didn't
Newcastle.
want to influence. I wanted to see other people without me
yes, that's
influencing
damn it.
the data.
Very true.
So
Very, very true. What made you stop? Here we go. Who wants to bring this up?
Okay.
bum, bum, bum.
Wow.
Oh,
What is
hang
it?
on. I'm gonna put this in big screen because shall I start at the end?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, well, to me, I think it's the obvious and the biggest one. So, and it says obviously right there. So, obviously, it was the end times coming in
not to skew your numbers, eh? It's kind of funny.
44%.
End times, yeah.
The end times. The typical, I think this is like the quintessential wargaming. Why did you stop? Just in general, was just life stage changes, aka girlfriend, or you finally discover girls and going out, or a baby.
Yeah, or the result of finding girls, a baby, or
exactly.
and then uni because you have to supply money for the baby. Yeah.
I never stopped. Came in at 13%. I'm actually surprised that was. Yeah, I thought it might have been bigger, but it seems like that. Yeah, obviously, quite a few people did stop. I lost interest is 5%. 8th edition, everything.
Yeah, I think some of these the answers.
As in
probably
what
were
was
a
wrong
bit...
with 8th ed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
8th ed like put them off it.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then Josh's 7th Dead Army books.
Yeah. So it's right.
And then 6th edition Grimdark. Why was 6th Grimdark?
It's probably because it went from the colourful
0%.
4th and 5th, and then it went dark. And they're saying, one of the cool, you know how you got that old hammer crew that like always are into is it Josh? That guy runs Command. What's it called? The Crown of Command podcast. I think his name's Josh.
Like real old school. Sort of.
Yeah,
okay.
it's all like old school, 3rd, 4th, 5th stuff, colourful.
Yeah.
Goblin Green era.
So 6th was scary.
I guess the contrast is most obvious between the 5th and 6th ed Bretonian books because the 5th ed one is really bright and fun.
Yeah.
And then just one edition later, the 6th ed one is really actually completely different.
Yeah.
Peasants are wallowing in mud. They look very sad.
Yeah, okay. So it's gone from like some happy fantasy la 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 sort of world to like a real sort of more of a everybody's struggling.
And I think the lore went that way a bit around the whole empire and just the black and white. Like the whole thing's black and white, whereas you go to the 5th ed rule book and it's got the bright colours all around the edges of the pages. Just total different. It grew up.
And apparently that didn't really turn anyone off.
No,
0%. Well, in the purpose of this survey, anyway.
Well, you'd argue that, and that's when Warhammer 40k really got its steam as well. Probably a little bit more than that, but that's when Grimdark was invented. Really, probably around that era. So
everyone loves an underdog. That's what I think. I think everyone likes that. Dwarves struggling, elves struggling. It seems like every race is tinkering on the brink of destruction to some degree.
Yeah.
It's like, or teetering, 100%. Teetering on the brink of
do you think the life stages one would be interesting if you could interview or like survey just any of Games Workshop's games during any period? I'd always feel like if you played this 40k for the last 3 years, but then you stopped, why did you stop? I wonder if 29% go life stage changed. I wonder if it's pretty much the same. At some point, I had to stop playing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wouldn't it be more?
I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I feel like they all haven't had the end times as a 44% reason.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
not to
yeah. No,
adopt.
you're right. But yes, it would be like. But if you, yeah, it's and like if you brought it, if the time frame was out large enough, it'd probably get right up into the 80% of people stopped at some point because of life stage changes. Favorite edition. Half of players who played until 8th identified it as their favorite edition. Okay, hang on. Is that just a commentary? Okay. Must have been. But anyway, favorite edition. So they didn't really register first or second edition. It was too low. 2% said third edition, 5th said 4th, 7th said 5th, and 39% said 6th edition. There we go. And then 7th was 14, 8th was 25, and then 9th and Warhammer's Army Projects 3 and 4. But yeah, this commentary at the bottom says half of players who played until 8th identified it as their favorite edition.
Okay.
So that's the people who potentially, and I guess played until 8th. So that probably would have been this question here saying, what's your most recent? And so that's probably lost the people who dropped out of it at 8th. Do you know what I mean? Like they didn't answer that. They probably went, oh, no, I didn't. I played 8th, but I dropped out.
I'm confused.
And the people who didn't identified, half of them identified as their favorite. Do you reckon that's, I mean, I guess that doesn't surprise you then? Because if it's weeded out the people who didn't like it, if you know what I mean?
I guess so. I mean, it also says that there's a half of players were playing 8th despite the fact they didn't really enjoy it compared to a previous edition.
Yeah, I think that's, if you're in this game, you're doing it because you know
you're
up
doing
until end times, you knew you were going to get another edition. Do you know what I mean? Like it's probably bitching about AOS 4 at the moment, and they'll get another edition, and things will be fixed. It's the same type of things. So
it'll all be fixed.
Yeah,
with a new edition.
But 6th ed, you can see what had a bit of resurgence there.
Insane.
It's very high. The games we played, 59% of players. Let me just read. I don't know if that's related, so maybe I should just read this. That's very big. There's a lot to go over there.
Yeah, there is.
Let's just summarize it as 58% do also play or have played 40K or other war games. 36.
That's very a significant portion is other.
And then
but I mean the 40K thing sort of fits with what we were saying earlier, at least.
Yeah.
And what else? We've got Age of Sigmar,
but this is played, not plays. So
Country games.
You probably tick
Historicals,
a heap of these.
Middle Earth, Necromunda, 6th or 7th Ed Fantasy. Oh my god, 8th Ed Fantasy, Armada or X-Wing down on 11%. WAP, 9th Age Kings of War, 5th Ed or earlier. It's right down the bottom.
3%.
Oh, there's a lot going on. Yeah.
But that's an age thing too, because this is played. So if you're not old enough, you wouldn't have played some of them. But no surprise that obviously a lot of people have touched 40K and some of the other ones, which is cool. Okay. Here, this will probably lead into some of our other chats in the pod. 34% favorite factions are not core. So obviously, for those who are catching up, obviously that 7 of the armies, is it 7? Were legacified. But what this is saying is that a third of all players own or have, favorite faction, not just own, their favorite faction is one of those 7. So that's pretty crazy going back all the way back to this stats we were talking about. 33, where was that 30% thing? Where was that? Like 30% of North American players are new to fantasy. Like you got this new intake of people.
Oh, yeah.
Which I said was pretty healthy. And then you sort of think, wow, 34% of the people who are playing, their favorite army isn't even in the game.
Yeah.
Like,
I reckon that's pretty accurate. Like for me, I mean, Undead is huge, like Vamps, as everybody knows, and Skaven's quite big as well. And Ogres, maybe lose them in a bit. Dark Elves are probably in there.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I think forces of like fantasy, like obviously your big ones are going to be High Elves, Bretts, Empire. Like they're all quite big, and Dwarves. Like they're all.
Yeah, and there's more of them. I mean, there's 20% more forces of fantasy than Ravening Hordes, but or 25% more technically, if that's how you say it. But yeah, so like that's not surprising that it's bigger, but it is obviously, you know, people like playing the good guys a bit sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. 32% though. That's it's pretty considering it's even higher though, I reckon, if you take out Chaos Dwarves. That's pretty like if you it'd probably hardly move. Like if you took Chaos Dwarves out, the legacy one would still probably sit in that 30%. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I suspect so.
Still way down there. Yeah.
Yeah, some of those, yeah, them and ogres. Oh, is that a
here it is.
breakdown?
Maybe this is
Oh,
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Demons of Chaos is right down.
Shouldn't say that.
Right down
Chaos
the
Dwarves are
bottom.
above Tomb Kings.
Yeah, God, spoke too soon. Oh my goodness. So this is favorite factions, all players. So what, Empire is at the top at 12%. Empire?
Yeah.
Empire?
Yeah.
And Dwarves at 11.4%. Dwarves?
Dwarves. What? It's, yeah, but you got to
dwarves.
think.
I knew dwarves would be up there.
Yeah.
Elves and orcs.
Yeah, I guess so.
Tolkien, straight away. It's just like, you got
exactly.
Yeah, it is
Dwarves,
people like humans. Those top four are all in starter boxes. Vamps.
Yeah, so high elves. Yeah, so high elves is what, the 9.8, then orcs and goblins at 9.2. Then vampire counts here, as you say, 8.6 in the top 5. Then a little bit of a drop, and then Bretonia is just under 7%. And then Skaven, Warriors of Chaos, Dark Elves, Wood Elves, Lizardmen, and then it keeps dropping down as we go to hit the Chaos Dwarves, Tomb Kings, Beastmen, Ogre Kingdoms at 2%, Dogs of War at 1.6, and then Demons of Chaos at 1.1.
That is just weird. I don't know how.
I can't get my head around that. How Demons of Chaos is below Dogs of War,
especially given the whole 7th Ed stuff that happened with how OP they were. That's weird.
Yeah, and I seem to remember them being relatively popular factions during 8th Ed too. Like, I mean you had a demon army in 8th Ed.
I think you'd get a different answer. Well, maybe this is in here, where if you just went like, what armies do you own?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so the favorite faction thing, like you tend to skew to things you understand more anyway. I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a slightly different skew in how you say it. Because I could say my favorite faction is the Empire. It looks cool and all that. And I love how I've painted my army, but I don't play it. You know, or something. You know what I mean? Or I own a Demons of Chaos, but I would never say it's favorite. But then the reality is, if you own an army and it's good, you'll end up playing at tournaments, so you'll see it more. So you can't look at this and then go, well, how come I don't see? Like, there's no use bringing Demons of Chaos out because 1.1%. It's like, well, no, 25% of people play them if they're in the game because they're a good army to play. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's they might just not say it's their favorite faction. They don't go to sleep dreaming about being a demon. You know, I don't know. So, yeah, it's just weird. Interesting stat, but yeah.
Yeah, it is.
All right, this is getting complicated. Favorite factions broken down by non-Total War or played in Total War. I don't even know what this is saying really, but obviously Empire, Dwarves, Elves, and Orcs are still right up there. I guess it's the same amount. It's just split down to whether or not they were played. Non-Total War play. Is that meaning like the Empire? Because that's the same amount, it's 12%, but 2.8% didn't play war. Like, you know, like they didn't play Total War. Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's what I'm
just to try and identify which if Total War pushed any of those factions up is I guess what it's going for. Was Demons in Total War?
I'm not sure what they're going.
Yeah, it's in the latest one, Total War 3.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's all good. Non-core factions. Let's have a look at this. So Legacy, 97.3% believe Legacy factions should become core. I mean,
97.3%. Yeah.
Can't get much higher than that.
Yeah.
And then 44.5 says wouldn't mind an entirely new faction before the legacy factions become core. So that's around that 50-50. And then about 20% each chose Dogs of War, Kislev, or Cathay as their preferred new faction. So sort of goes along with that other one. But yeah, so I mean, overwhelmingly, we want to see him in the game. Half and half, whether or not, the timeline on it, I guess, is what I'm reading here. It's like if we got new stuff and then eventually got Legacy, we'll be happy as well. So,
Yeah,
we've
just
talked
want new
about that in
stuff.
our other ones, but yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Old world, new forces. So, okay, how do we read this thing?
I love the graphs. They're just kind of like trying to like just change it up.
Because 100%. So well, there's a respondent number. 4.4 thousand people responded to this survey. I guess we go down. So 80% purchased at least one new release. So I'm assuming that, did you reckon that means miniatures or does that mean anything? So you bought the
I'd say
rulebook?
anything.
Because I would have said that's pretty poor then if only 80%. Like, is that poor if you didn't even buy the rulebook? I don't know. And answered this survey? I don't know. Like, or is it meaning like forces? Because old world, new forces. Like, did you buy something from the new Rangers?
Well, it does say new release. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit hard.
Maybe I should have watched their videos because they probably explain that. Because I would have thought most people would have bought the rule book. Who would have answered this? So I'm assuming this means miniatures. That type of thing, at least army books or whatever. 69.5% started a new army. That's pretty high.
That is.
Yeah, that is really massive from scratch.
Do you think
Well, I'm in that bracket, kind of. I mean, I bought Bretonians after I sold my Bretonians.
I forgot you bought them. So what state is that in?
It's in the same state that I bought it in. It's in a box.
No, but like, did you buy like a painted one? Did you buy just plastic?
No. I bought the Bretonian set that comes in the box, in the starter box. Like, not the starter box, sorry, the Bretonian box.
Bretonian army box. Yeah, right.
Just
Bretonian
the contents of that.
That one. Yeah.
So do I. I've got one of them too. Do you reckon this though? I just don't want to know if it's explained later. Do you think 69.5% though? That would include people who maybe sold everything off and had to buy a new army.
Well,
yeah. Why not?
Have to probably.
Yeah.
That's starting a new army.
So in that case, it doesn't surprise me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'd love to know. And now you can't. Yeah, well, I don't know. I just feel like if everyone hadn't sold their armies, how many people would have loved the game so much they went out and bought a new one? I guess it'd be interesting to see the psychology of that versus just going, well, I'm fleshing out the ones I've got. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, the next one sort of saying that 30% of people wouldn't have had an army at release.
Yeah, so that's the 70.9. Is that what you mean? That one?
Yeah.
70.9% owned at least one existing Warhammer Fantasy army at release. So they either sold their others but kept one. Yeah, so you're right. 30% needed to buy an army, basically.
Yep.
So that means
sold theirs or they're brand new to the game.
40% owned an army. Is that right? And then bought one. So 40% started a new army.
Huh?
Is that right? Or did I screw those percentages up? Probably screwed them
40% had an army already and bought a new one. Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, interesting. And 40.8% started a core army. But 28.7% started a new legacy. I love that. It's like it just sits at that same 30% or whatever it is. It's like, I don't care. I love that. It's still pretty strong. That's good.
Read the room,
that's a significant amount. Like, if you take it as a proportion of people that started an army, that's 28% of 70%. That's not much less than half.
Yeah.
If you actually do those fractions out,
it's way above the actual stats.
That's a huge amount. That's a really surprising amount, actually. The people just go, yep, I'm going to do this new legacy army, which actually then supports the whole idea of trying to maintain the health of those PDFs, which we will get to
Yeah,
later on,
no,
hopefully.
yeah, it makes more sense why Val did it. But also, I wonder if it's like figure related as well. Like it's almost easy to buy Legacy Army, like Vamps.
How
or,
ironic.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
kinda
very
funny.
good point. Warriors of Chaos.
Players with existing armies. So going back to that same sort of theme. So 0 previous armies was 86%. Players with existing armies. How did that work with 70.9 owned at least one? I'm confused here. Hang on. Players with existing armies. 0 previous armies was 86. 1 previous armies was 66. 2 was 63. 61. I was just confused with how the other 70.9 owned at
I'm
least
confused with
one
that as
existing.
well.
Oh, owned at least one. So then it adds up. You got to add
it
all these
adds
other
up.
percentages up, and that's where you get that difference. Yeah. Whereas this is broken down a bit more to the actual number. So yeah.
But those numbers still confuse me, even with that being
Yeah.
broken down. But yeah, anyway.
I thought that would have been 100% broken up amongst those.
Yeah. It makes no sense that they're all so high. How can you have like 200%, 300% of
0.
the
So 80.
It can't add up to like that high.
I don't know. That's just I don't know. These ones. I remember looking at these and I was getting confused. Model acquisition tendencies. So, yeah. I mean, let's just sort of summarize it because we're not going to read all this out. And if you're listening to this, it's probably horrendous. It's basically, I think this is saying that 77.4% of people are getting GW sculpts, but it is a mixture of old world kits, Age of Sigmar kits, secondhand, and recasts. So, China jobs. But basically trying to show that almost 80% of people playing old world are playing it with old world miniatures, which is pretty cool. Like it keeps it's not all just, you don't, like I don't know what Ninth Age looks like now, but I'm assuming you'd start looking at it going, oh, I've never seen those models before. Some look cool, some look weird. You know what I mean? I don't know what it looks like. Whereas old world still will look like Warhammer Fantasy because of that. It's also healthy for Games Workshop to look at because obviously people probably want Warhammer like Games Workshop figures. Do you know what I mean? Even though you'd argue the ones we're getting at the moment aren't at all close to good in terms of quality.
Still buying them.
Yeah. And Age of Sigmar is kind of healthy. I mean, I can't do the maths on it there, but it looks, I mean, for new figures, it's probably, what's that, a third at least of new figures bought are actually AOS? Is that what that's saying?
Well, that fits with that previous stat about the Legacy Army
the
proportion.
Legacy armies, totally. Yeah. And then third-party kits are 6%. So, the Kings of Wars and 3D printing, which we like here, is pushing. It's, I guess it's probably what you'd expect. But
I think it's what you'd expect.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And then Legacy Army starters buy GW kit. So, I guess that's just, I won't go into that one too much. But it's basically saying if you're a new person, Legacy Army, they're buying the new one. So it's sort of what you were saying, Josh, that, they're probably buying, is that right? Legacy Army is used for an army, a few kits, new sculpts, started an army, no new army, obviously just took a few. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're starting a new army, you're buying stuff. Oh, God, these are confusing now. Let's just get off one that looks
These are getting heavy.
Yeah, these are broken down.
It's too late for this.
This is probably interesting, maybe, I think. Here, people who 3D print, when you purchase models, where do you tend to get them? So these are people who do 3D print versus non-users of 3D printing. So old world stockists, 3D, the highest is old world stockists. So that's like the, the third-party retailers. They're all both pretty high for both of them.
Only marginal difference.
Yeah.
Whether you print or not.
The next highest is 3D printing, obviously, and that's 3D print. People who do 3D printing would buy 3D prints or use 3D prints, obviously. And then secondhand Warhammer Fantasy, again, same sort of thing. Doesn't matter if you're 3D printing or not, you tend to, it's about the same. Would buy a secondhand one, like Warhammer Fantasy. 3D printing at home versus so doing it yourself is slightly lower than retail, but not. It's about 50-50, I guess, between people who buy 3D printing versus do it themselves. I guess that's what that's saying.
Yep.
And then AOS stockers, Old World Direct, it just drops right off, obviously. Yeah. Not much to look at there. Who tended not to get GW prints? So 17% of people using 3D printed models didn't buy any GW kits. Probably not surprising. It's all about the same. 14.8 people using secondhand models, or people using like recasts. And then this is probably saw this on an early side. 12.6% of all respondents didn't even buy anything new. So I don't know. That's probably what you'd expect. I don't think anything's jumping out. This is the interesting. I like this one. So, more than 50% of 3D printing were in Australia, France, New Zealand, Spain, Poland, Italy. Like Australia's green. There.
Interesting. Such a dark green, a forest green there. But
and obviously, we've had issues with GW stock anyway because of the factory, like the warehouse redistribution and all that crap. But obviously, the pricing here is just stupid.
Yeah,
so.
I think both those factors push us towards it for sure.
Yeah. So
I think they've had that with the old piracy for downloads as well for TV shows and movies, because they charge so much for streaming services here that a lot of Australians were just downloading them because we get the old Australia tax.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Doesn't surprise you.
Plus, we're all convicts.
Convicts, yeah.
So,
we're used to stealing, and that's right. Stealing bread.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. We got to the end of it. That's the end of the ones I took pictures of anyway, so I don't know if I missed any.
Nice.
What did you think overall? Obviously, what was your big takeaways?
Big takeaway is that legacy factions are quite popular. And are worthy of support. I think that's probably the most important.
Hopefully, we're not the only ones hearing it, but anyway, we'll see. I'm sure
there's a reasonable cohort of younger people, I guess, younger than I thought. Like, to be honest, 25 to 34 bracket. That's probably more than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this next. I mean, we're already into this year, I guess, but the second year of its age will be very interesting. And if it, I'm assuming it'll get to a second ed at some point. It'll be very interesting to see what it does, like whether or not that same, is it going to continue to grow, or is it going to always be that? Because I don't know, like, what's your view without playing it or knowing too much? Do you think Horus Heresy has grown? Obviously, probably since its first ed, because it is more plastic and stuff. But would you say it's exponentially took off? Do you know what I mean, or is it just still stayed? Heresy players are heresy players. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not qualified.
Neither am I.
By saying that, but
I
do you
don't
know
have a
what I
strong
mean?
opinion about this.
I don't know either, but I'm just wondering. Yeah, is Old World still is it going to be like that or not? Or I don't know. It's interesting. Or will it? Because it's just weird. Old World is different because it was a mainstream game. It was their main game, so it'll be interesting to see if it ever recovers. And I'm not saying it's ever going to fully recover and beat 40K, but I wonder if it'll try and do that or not. I don't know. Only time will tell.
Yeah,
I guess. Anyway, well, that was cool. Thanks, Val, and Rob and all those guys who organised that for us to go through, I guess, because it is interesting to see, and it's hopeful. We contribute to the community there, and it's good to see people actually want Old World content. So I guess we have to we've got to keep turning up, guys. That's the people want it. And talking legacy armies. I mean, we could do that next after I give the shout outs to our patrons for
it.
second half.
Hey, Patron.
So yes, patrons do help us bring Old World Fanatics week in, week out over here, and you get a cool shout out. So we got 47 of our paid members over here. We got Silver Dave, big thank you, Sporadic Sanity, Mark, Nick, Grand Vanderbosch, Chris Bowler, Drunkhammer Nate, Ben, Shooter Louie, Eugene Schaffel, and Benoit, Ed Fawcett, Cam the Dentist, James McKellen, Liam Fallon, Tommy Kublin, Jay McBride, Flatwell's Edge, Sexy Jelly, Herald of the Old World, Hill Herd, David Dodge Lancaster, Tommy Dogs, Matthew Klein, Thumper, Matt Morris, Perfidy, Griff, Jess Tools, Wood Duck, Josh Griffiths, Nananawim, Daniel Broadstock, Jonathan Wingler, Elliot Mitchum, Gilthos, Draconos, Diesel, Denny Gamer, Robert Z, the OG Whirler, Tainted, Bobby Gherkin, Gunwich, Sean Ritchie, Todd Lloyd, and we still have Chapstick. One day we're going to have to meet Chapstick. The OG, the real OG.
The OG.
I know there's OG Whirler here, but he's not Chapstick. So.
He's not the Chapstick.
No, he'll never be. Never be.
No.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Yes, if you enjoyed that, Old World Fanatics, patreon.com, Old World Fanatics. If you want to jump over there and look at our tiers. Andrew, you did a YouTube video with one of our patrons.
Oh,
Is that
God.
coming out,
Did you?
or?
Yeah, I'm uploading it right now because
that's probably what you. No,
I
was going to say
farting around. I did the video last
night.
night and then I downloaded it because I had to get up early this morning. So it was ready to go, and then I got home quite late today. I'm finally about to release the big. It's basically just going through lists between myself and Sean, just discussing the two high elf lists from the Arcane Journal, like what our preferences are. So we sort of like built a list that we think is kind of, compish, as it were. I wouldn't say compish, but like a stronger list. Yeah. And then we just discuss things in it.
Man, it's gonna be cool. I love different videos popping up where you haven't been involved in it. It's like when you go away, like twice. The other week I wasn't here for 2 episodes, and it's cool to be a listener for once. So it's cool. Can't wait.
Yeah, well, poor Sean. I think it was like pretty late there.
Time zones are shit.
And then for me, I popped like 2 coffees just before I started. So I was all like,
Total different dynamic, eh?
Yeah, huge different dynamic between the two of us.
Well, that's going to be good. Yes, but obviously, like I said, you can jump on there and obviously you contribute to us for listener questions and all that sort of stuff as well. Thriving little Discord channel over on our Australian Discord if you want to jump on there and join them. We did have a couple of questions. It looks like, Josh, you've been adding them. Actually, it was all Perfidy's definitely helped us here. He's thrown a few here. I don't know if they were in full. I think that last one you got there, Josh, is the first one. Should we cover that first, or you reckon?
Let's cover that first.
Okay.
No, let's cover it. Let's cover it first. It wasn't even a question. I think we put this up, but well before we were requesting the weekly prompt came up. But he did ask, does anyone else get paralyzed by basing? When I first started playing Warhammer, you just slap Goblin Green all over the base. If you're fancy, you might lose some Railway Flock on too, and then 3 months later feel bad about the few remnants still sticking on. And then he said, when he comes back in around early 2000s, we then glued sand to our bases and painted them brown. Goblin Green was gouged by that point. But today, people use approximately 100 different basing products on each base and spend hours researching a real-world landscape to make them realistic. Tries I might go simple with my roots. I find that I just can't get these sort of complicated levels going. Doing more stressful, time-consuming. What should we do? What's the solution?
I mean, I'm totally. He's speaking for me there, so I shouldn't. I don't know. I feel the stress too.
The stress.
Yeah.
There's like, I feel like there's simple ways of doing something that could look really good. Yeah. That's a nice tub. And I think you can certainly, I mean, that's the thing with a hobby is there's a lot of exposure to very highly skilled or very dedicated people that go to the end of the earth to do really ultra realistic stuff. When that's just really not required. You want the base to look okay and sort of just complete the mini, I guess. But you don't have to overdo it, especially for an army. You just sort of want to make it look cohesive.
Yeah, that's.
Really.
I think someone now. I don't know if it was in this, thread or not, or God, I can't remember where it was, but it was recently, last week or so. Someone was saying like it didn't really matter, like as long as you get it close. Actually, it might have even been Danny Paints was saying it. Like it doesn't have to be exact all the time, as long as again it's cohesion and don't stress too much about it. Once the army's all done, as long as everything's pretty close, it looks good. But if you're worried too much about how exactly was that basing done, I need to then replicate it over, that exact army all the time, no matter how long I've got it, 10 years, I've got to keep doing the same thing. It starts stressing you out. And then you go to the next one like I've done where I go, okay, I'm going to start a new army. What do I want to do? Yeah, because I'm a bit in this, like my orcs are sand. My Empire and orcs were sand with that, just the sprayed black over the top. I think 3 layers, 2 or 3 different like dry brushes up to like a real skull white, or not skull white, but a sharp bone, I think. And then with some flock and at the time the Games Workshop sand, I was mixing Games Workshop sand with just normal stuff because obviously it's expensive. But the Games Workshop one had some pretty cool like little bits of rocks in it. So it was like, but as that diluted, I ended up having to try and mix it with other stuff. And I don't know, I think my Orc and Empire Army bases are simple, but they look good. But now I can't really replicate them with the exact one. And plus it's a fucking pain in the ass. So now I am trying to do what Perfect is doing. Like I need to move to textured bases or 3D printed ones or whatever. And what do I do? And it's like, and do I rip them all off the other ones and start again? It's like, fuck, I don't know. So there's probably no answer. It's just, I don't know.
No, there isn't. And I feel like I can't adjust the question because I'm probably one of the people that do like to painstakingly do lots of little elements and print lots of crap and overdo the basics. So I feel like I'm not in a position to console him.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you a simple way.
No, you just go under your house, sip some dirt, different fine grades, and soak the whole thing in alcohol and Mod Podge, and then put the dirt on, then the flock, then 5 or 6 other stuff I got from model train set elements, and then also I pre-print other stuff that I'm putting on there. I have to paint separately, and it's a lot. Oh dear!
But it's
still
does.
advocate I was going to say just for the simplicity. Base ready, I think you get not a premium, but like a premium basic finish.
Yeah.
So I think it looks pretty good. It takes stuff all to do, and it doesn't cost a heap of money.
Like I reckon one of those packs from base ready would do an army, wouldn't they? Easy, even if no, I agree. I reckon. I think what it comes down to, one of the tips I'd probably say, because I'm starting to think about, obviously with mine, is deciding on what the purpose of that army is for as well. Like if you're a tournament game and you need to smash out an army, then go the base ready or something like that, or 3D print the base or whatever. If it's your main army, it's your favorite faction, but you're sick of the sand, then stress on that one. You know what I mean? And like come up with something that looks cool and spend a bit of extra time, like what Josh is saying around. There's so much. What's that base? What's the 3D printed place we get all those little things from? The little skulls.
Oh, the epic basing.
Epic basing, yeah. Like
so good.
All these little things you can add to them. But I think having a goal, if that's the right word, of what the purpose of that army is, and not it's because that way it might guide you to get a decision. Like, if you've just whacked this army out to do a tournament, then 100% it'll look fine if it's just base ready or something like that, as long as it's consistent, I reckon.
Wise words.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is, I probably know the answer to this, but do you guys ever stress about not having the same basing for multiple armies, or do you definitely theme it around the army? So therefore you can't reuse movement trays or whatever. I mean, Josh and Andrew do totally different here. So do you know what I mean? Like, are you I need to build the movement trays for this army and it has to have the same basing as that, or, or do I just mix, Like,
I guess I don't know. Do you want each of us to answer this? I did originally when I was the movement trays from Back to Basics, I would base them according to the army because I hated having the lip and like not having it appropriately flocked or based. But then I just went to completely lipless trays, and so I don't need to worry about it anymore.
yeah,
I'm
right.
going with my life.
Okay, well, because Andrew's more probably in that round because he's used a lot more of the Shogun. Is it
You got the
Shogun?
metal ones, don't you?
The metal ones?
Yeah, which don't fit anymore because they were from the previous edition. Some of them do.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I'm a lazy man. Some of convenience, so I go for the simplest. And it's good to hear that Josh is.
He's moved on.
Also-
I'm still not, but I know,
He's moved on.
I'm still in the amount of Back to Basics. Well, I'm about to order a bunch more.
What?
And yes, they are all themed around the army, and I can't share them across them. Otherwise, they burst into flame. So I'm just making a rod for my own back. I can't go rimless. I can't go. What's it called? Rimless? Is that what you called it, Josh?
Yeah.
Mm,
I guess that's what I call it. Yeah.
can't do it.
Can't. Why not? Why can't
I
you
feel
do
like I
it?
need to be able to pick the thing up, and not the miniature. So I don't know. Now that would have been a good segue into those moving trays we've got, which we haven't reviewed yet. So I didn't
Andrew,
even
what are you
go
doing?
through.
I've-
I
You
gave
can
them
pick
to
it
you,
up.
didn't I?
You can just pick it up. Like, especially if you've got enough magnets on these things, you can just pick up the whole thing.
Yeah.
I have actually gone through and done my testing of them.
Oh, cool.
I'm trying to work out how to actually put them together and pick them up as such.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll get into that. Yeah. But yes, I don't know. Well, I mean, that's the thing, Josh. It sounds interesting. Maybe I need to look at that, but I don't know. Don't know. I like a good movement tray still. Call me old fashioned. It's not even old fashioned. If you go back far enough, there's no such thing as movement
I'll
trays.
tell you what. The thing that I actually pushed me towards it more than anything was the fact that sometimes if there was too much crap and flock and stuff on each base, they wouldn't all fit inside the movement tray.
Yeah.
And then so you just like trying to squeeze them all in and like jamming them. And like, I just, that was actually probably the bigger reason why I actually got rid of the libs entirely because of that, because it just annoyed me so much.
Well, maybe I will try it with one of my projects, which we'll cover in Hobby Time. We'll see.
Ooh.
It's not that exciting, but you will see what I mean. Anyway,
Let
cool.
me introduce.
Hopefully, Perfity, we didn't probably answer that great, but it is what it is. I
He
understand.
got some
the
pretty good.
stress.
He probably got some better answers from the other people in the chat, to be honest.
Yeah. Now-
And then shall I hit the next one?
Yeah.
Maybe going up.
Yeah.
What are the host's thoughts on Mordheim being brought back? Likely or unlikely? I assume he means by GW. Welcome or unwelcome? Because Necromunda got brought back, officially brought back to a very mixed response, depending on the type of gamer.
That took a while to come back, though, too, didn't it? I can't remember.
That was a similar thing where it had been around for ages. And yeah, GW just picked it up again.
I wouldn't say it's. I don't know. I just think the only reason I'd be a bit skeptical is they've already got an old Blood Bowls in Old World. I don't know, that's a bad example, but you're probably not going to bring back a small game based around Horus Heresy because it's also a small game, like in the big scheme of things. Whereas Necromunda is a small game or a side shoot from 40k, which is huge. I'm just wondering if I don't know, but I mean, it's got a massive following. I could see it coming back. I'm just not sure it's likely yet. That's, I guess, is my answer.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could happen one day, but I can't see it happening at least for the next few years. I don't think it's really on the radar.
Then how does do you think Mordenheim is more of a I don't know, like modelers thing, whereas is Necromunda more like you can buy all the scenery straight off Games Workshop, and like how many people build massive Necromunda boards? I'm sure they do, but
yeah, I think the old school guys would. But that I think that's the issue with these games is like if you're a Mordheim player, like the OG, you probably don't want a new game to come out because it might split the community. You might have shit rule set. Ross, for me, like I've got zero investment in it really, so sounds good to me. Because you know what happens, you send like there's a new edition comes out, the community splits. Some people probably try, or a lot of people probably try it out, but then like some might stick to the new game, some stick to the old game, or else if you only ever got the original, you know, it's always there.
Yeah, and there are strengths and weaknesses to the original, but you know, there's if you know what they are, you can house rule around them, and you turn it into a
Blood Bowl's
game.
done well though, hasn't it? Like since it released, it's still gone strong. And
I think
they're
it
all playing
seems
the main
pretty.
one, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say
I
so.
don't know.
I think the thing you don't want to lose is the heart or the thing that draws everyone to the game originally. You know?
Yeah. Having said that, I mean, you look at some of the Blood Bowl teams they bring out; they look awesome, and they're not trying to go too crazy with them. It's not like they're AOSifying them or not. So, man, if they brought out Mordheim, I guess over time you'll see scale creep. But they look friggin' awesome. I'd imagine they do a pretty good job of them.
Why? Yeah, they like it. If they did bring it out, I reckon it'd be massively popular. I reckon, it'd be a huge pickup. I think there is a deep underlying well of interest in Mordheim, even now, 25 years later.
They brought out a Mordheim, and Mordheim is, I don't know the exact dates, but wasn't it 400 years before? Well, like the Comet was 500 years or something before 8th Ed. And now we're, couple of hundred years before?
Yeah,
so like it's almost like
precedes
Mordheim.
everything.
It's actually almost more applicable to Old World in a way. So it'd be interesting if they could bring it back and leverage that sort of easier, quicker game to get into to pull into Old World. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear Dono's thoughts about this.
Did we cut some stuff out from last podcast when we were talking or not, John? Andrew, did you remember to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did?
Seamless.
Okay. Cool.
Seamless cut.
Okay. I just saw some comments on the Patrons. I went, oh, crap. Anyway, we were talking about some things that obviously secret, so we can't bring it up here. Yeah, all good. Okay. People won't know what we're talking about because it was cut out. So there you go.
It's behind the paywall.
Behind the paywall, exactly. Anyway. And then, Perfidy, I don't even know where this originally came from, but I just put it in here because I definitely will agree because of the hobby I've been doing is, he said, as an aside, I'm a bit annoyed that ball boys come with slaughter bases when they didn't have tabs. GW made 30x60 non-slaughter bases, so it feels like they were just hoping you'll end up buying those to save time filling the slots in. Now, I don't understand. Yeah, so I've bought ball boy boxes, and this is really weird. They've got slotters on them. They've never bought out figures that have 30x60 before that needed slaughter bases.
Yeah.
And they've also already got 30x60 non-slaughter ones in other boxes, and it's just really bizarre. So when you base your model, going back to the basing thing, and I'm using sand for my orcs, I'm like, fuck's sake, there's these two big lines down the middle of the
I know. They're not easy to fill either. Like, it's not like...
And I've gone lazy, man. I've just gone heaps of PVA, sand, and hopefully by the time it's there, if there's a hole, I'm going to cover it in flock. Because I'm not freaking like puttying it or multiple glue layers or something to try and
Yeah.
It's so weird though.
Feel like the putty is going to save you time and frustration.
I don't think any of them show through.
I'll just buy
there's a little bit light there, but that's going to get covered up. You watch. I'll be right. Hopefully. Who knows?
That's so funny because whenever I've had that dilemma, I've always just puttied it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a glutton for wasting time doing shit.
I don't know. Those bases also, the date on them was I looked at that, was 2023. So they made a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
it's just very weird that they've made a slaughter base. And there's no slots on that thing. Now, having said that, what about some of the
But they're the
Wood
same
elf
as
ones.
the Bretonian ones, aren't they? Because the Bretonians are slotted.
Yeah.
So, they're
So
probably
there
just
you
use the
go.
same
That's
base.
probably what it is. So it's just all those.
They're
The
just-
older 6th ed ones are all slotted. So wood elves,
Yeah.
them. Maybe not wood elves. Maybe the Bretts. Yeah. Maybe that caused it.
They're just saving money.
Yeah.
That is, that's the new.
That's what it is then, because the horses in the Tomb Kings aren't. They're 25s. So yeah, well, there's the answer. Perfectly. Look at that. Andrew sorted it. That's what it is. Cool.
Mystery
Do we want
Soul.
to? Oh, do you want to? Should we just touch? What are we at now? 20. We'll just touch the Renegade pack quickly because we just talked about. It sounds like obviously people
Just a touch.
want them.
Just a
Well, we won't
touch.
go through it.
We'll have a bit of a
Yeah,
feel.
I don't really have much hobby, so yeah, we can spend.
Oh, okay, I got a little bit of hobby, but yeah, cool. We
Yeah.
can catch.
Yeah,
up.
I've got a smidgen of hobby.
Okay, cool. So we covered this 2 weeks ago, but obviously now it's version, I guess, 1, so to speak. If you haven't seen this,
The official version out of beta. Yep.
Yeah, and it's actually almost. I think there was a little bit of like Rob wasn't. I might be totally wrong here, but it feels like Rob wasn't really wanting to do this originally. Val did it. No animosity there. He just went, I'm going to start to do it. And then just the support and just, I think the way Val's done it, that it wasn't with a heavy hand. Square base is definitely like, yep, we're doing it. And so I think.
Yeah, I got that vibe. Yep.
Yeah, I think even Rob said it now it's in his events and obviously in the US on Val's Square base events, they're doing it as well. But we can skim this again if you want. But I guess the main thing I also wanted to bring up was just how it's being received, I guess, because obviously they've done a pretty good job. And like we said the other day when we went through it, it wasn't heavy-handed by any means.
But the one thing.
Which one was that one? Did you want to cover? Do you want to skim through it again? Or okay.
Well, the slan I think is definitely heavy-handed.
Yeah. Pretty
But
powerful.
other than that, I think it's really pretty good.
Yeah. Well, let's just skim it again in terms of because I think there was some changes. I guess the Howdah's sort of a little bit confusing, and when playing a game using the Renegade Army Legacy Pack, the following call rules are added and affect all factions. So I don't know
so
if
it's a
that was
clarification.
what we talked about, but
that was because last time it was just the factions that were using the rule. Yeah.
And I guess that's been a bit
much
of
clearer
discussion. Yeah, which is good and bad, but the question is that weird to be patching basically a core rule that affects most, well, not most, but still don't think it'd make big scheme of things in games. I can't see it being that big a deal.
I don't think it's going to be massively big a deal. And I feel like you got to be consistent. It'd be weird to have different rules for different factions.
Yeah.
So I think they're forced into making
probably
this.
talking about monsters having weapon skills in the order of like 4. So if you got a goblin on the spider or something, I'm assuming the Arachnarok's probably 4. It wouldn't be that much. So you've gone up from a weapon skill. You're probably hitting it on 4s or 3s now rather than 2s. That's basically the only difference. So I think it's probably fine. And then the Draglong didn't affect anyone anyway, unless you're Legacy, so that's fine. That had to be patched a lot because the whole large targety stuff, I think the one we looked at before was a bit sort of missing conditions, if you know what I mean. Like would come up.
I think they've done it well. It's good.
So it's a bit weird because it's going back to that sort of you're almost getting a ward save a little bit, if you know what I mean. Because you things go into the unit, is that right? It's a range attack. It's back to that sort of roll to 1 to 4 the hits inflicted upon the model. Otherwise 5 up is inflicted on the unit. So it's almost like the other way than it used to be, but if you know what I mean, like it's 5 up, you're hitting the unit. So you're getting a little bit of a 5 up ward save, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Which
I think it's good because like the problem with those is they're so slow and they were just sort of like cannon magnets. I think a lot of those things that dragged along, so I think that's quite fair.
Yeah, and there was a patch around the lumbering rule, which is cool. Chaos Renegade list. I'm not sure if there's anything massive from when we talked about the other day.
Yeah, they got on the Bal Taurus. Yeah, nothing huge has changed, but it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I think you'll see different lists there a bit, at least not just orc lists, which is what's good about it. Now the demons one again. I think this is awesome. The fact that they're getting a ward.
Mm.
I don't know. The question is, will this end up? We don't know. And Val said it.
So it's just-
There's no play testing here. That is what it is, and we'll just have to see what happens.
So it's just a straight up ward now, isn't it? Because I think last time it was magic and flaming or something got rid of it, which was a weirdly specific.
No, it was. Was it?
Yeah. The version we read, it had to be magic and flaming to get rid of
And
the
flaming.
demonic ward save.
Was it? Yeah. So now it's just non-magical.
Now it's just a ward save, which I think is fine.
Sorry, yes, it's get rid of that, delete that was called by non-magical. Yes. And then the demon prints out the 5-up, and then you're getting the close order on the great demons, Swiss Driver, Flesh Hounds, and just some extra little things there. And then nerfing the skull cannon a little bit, but obviously the breakdown here, the core being a bit more open, and then ironically, some of the special being a bit more closed because you used to be able to pull like things like plague drones and stuff into special, and now they're just rare. So it's got some nerfs as well in it. I think this one's going to be interesting to see how powerful it could become, because I think demons can be powerful. And so you give them a ward save and being able to, mix and match the laws, the gods a lot more. It'd be interesting. I think that's one to watch. That's my gut feel with it. And then, Lizardman. So this is the one you're saying, Andrew, the Slan. So, do you want to run through him?
Oh, it's just the palanquin. So basically, you can throw him into a unit with the Guardian special rule. So as long as the front rank has a minimum of 4 units, can be placed in the second rank. However, they continue to confer the benefits to the unit in the form of leadership and special rules. As long as this model is not in the fighting rank, which it shouldn't be if you're going to be in a big unit, they may still cast and dispel as normal, even if the unit is engaged in combat. So it's going to be really hard to shut this guy down. But they can't cast assailment spells, which is pretty good, I suppose, because I think the Bretonian, the damsel can still cast assailment, can't they?
Yeah. Yep. She's as if she's in the fighting rank. Yep.
Yeah. And then they've got 360 vision. And then, so basically it can join the unit, but you kind of can't attack it, and then it can still cast all its spells. So it's and then like obviously as well, the other one he's got, he can get another spell.
He gets one more than normal
on top of his level of wizardry, and once per turn he can re-roll 1d6 when making a casting roll, which I don't mind,
because he's supposed to be like the best wizard, isn't he?
Yeah. So like the old ones, so like the old ones, the first old ones after the old ones, I suppose. But like for me, it was like, well, when you start adding these together, it just seems like it's just going to be very strong.
Yeah.
But we'll see how we go. I don't mind some of the rules, but the fact that if he does get into combat, I don't know, just that casting and dispelling, it's going to make him really hard to get rid of.
I think Rob was saying this. I like the counterpoint to these hard things is that it's still not 3 dragons. It's still not a Chaos Lord on Dragon. Yeah. And probably it's not like you'd probably still go into that unit versus go into like the Longbeard unit or whatever it is with, tooled up Dwarf Lords and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like there's probably worse units to go into still. So is it overpowered or is it just making it powerful? Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of there's lots of powerful things in each army, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, how it's going to go with things like challenging, if that's going to affect it at all. I haven't really looked into that synergy.
Yeah, there's going to be holes in this, and again, it's not that Games Workshop bloody play test everything either, but it is what it is. Just some other stuff around the temple guard, like the guardian thing. I don't believe Ogre's got really all that much. They've just same sort of stuff. They got the lead belches a bit better and all that sort of stuff. And then just obviously the breakdown of their core and stuff, so they can do a lot more. So that's fine. And then Skaven got the big one, like we talked about last week. With I don't know if massive. Did a lot of stuff change with this one?
Yeah, they changed, so they don't have the super duper
doom wheel.
Doom wheel.
Yeah, that was sad.
But
cool.
they do have pretty good. So they've got like regiments and detachments now for like weapons teams.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Hell Pit has got toughness 6 and it's got impact hits, which is good. And the warp lightning cannon, you can actually take it now because it's actually like a cannon. It's got multi-weapons, 3+1. Yeah. So that's really good. And then obviously Plague Menace and Screaming Bell can actually be inside a unit now, like it used to be.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that weapon team thing. The Hell Pit's it's a bit weird bumping those things to tough 6, but it's fine. I mean, the other monsters are tough 6, and it's a fair bit of points, isn't it?
Yeah, they're probably one of the only decent things in the list. So it's the only problem is it's probably just going to make it an auto take.
Yeah, and it can come back again, can't it? I can't remember how it works. It's that one that you roll and it comes back.
I think so. Yeah.
That's not a scary thing when you see. Anyway, but they don't have dragons. They're not flying, so who knows?
Nah, I think they're still going to have some issues, but it's definitely bringing them up to usable, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Be interesting to see how that goes. Nothing changed. I don't think the vampire counts that I remember. It's the same sort of stuff. They got, nerfed Wailing Dirge a little bit. Just trying to see if there was anything different. The vampire was the same or no? It was this new stuff where they allowed him to take the armor.
I think leadership's gone from 8 to 9, possibly.
Yeah.
And then just thrown full plate in there. Yeah. So you can throw them on a horse with full plate.
Yeah, they've obviously added that thing around. They can actually cast spells without penalty, which is cool. And then, Dark Elves had the same thing around, like, just fixing up the murderous rules so you could actually use it.
Yeah, man, it's so ridiculous.
The Manticore. This is interesting, too. I did hear him say this. So, because the Elves have a shitty toughness and the Manticore only bumped it by 1, it was actually really, like, it was lower than the Manticore and everything, the Chaos stuff. So they bumped it to give you a +2 toughness. So just make sure you go up to tough 5 or what it is.
Yeah, rather than tough 4 Manticore.
Yeah. So giving you options and maybe not just taking the double dragon all the time. So not too bad. But I guess what I wanted to bring up though, and I don't know if I had the screenshot of it anywhere, but was just so the Australian community, we put out a thing just saying like, should we be using this in our tournaments, going forward? And I think currently, from when I looked at it last, it was like 77% said yes.
Yeah, that's a massive majority.
So it wasn't even close to being like debatable.
Yeah.
So, oh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
I think it took everyone by surprise a bit. Like I thought, because there was some legitimate comments saying, oh, it'd be nice if we actually had some results from it first and stuff. But I guess the flip side of that is you need to play it to get results.
Yeah, you get the results. That's right. And that's a strong majority. It's not like it was like 55 or 60% either. Like you did want a clearly significant majority on board for the community to be accepting of it. A mandate.
And now I think as people like Michael done it for, is that up for like that winter one and stuff, like the Western City Games?
Oh, they were talking about it. I think they were, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I saw the chatter, but don't. Actually, I'm going to redact what I just said.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I've seen there's some packs already saying it's a bit too soon and as in too close to the tournament date for them to adopt it.
Yeah, fair enough. Plus, I mean, a lot of the army builders only just starting to get it in there as well, depending on how it works. No, I don't know. I always feel like, let's just throw it in, and if it starts causing issues, then we just have to. Or if you get other information from Games Workshop that something's coming down the track, then you just you drop it again or something. But I guess that's the question. Could you ever put anything like this in and then like retract it down the track? Do you know what I mean? I feel like
surely
once a community, but my gut feel is you watch, like if a community thing like this gets in, it's going to be patched way more than what Games Workshop would ever do.
Oh yeah.
So Val would be watching it. So the changes of whatever issues it has will probably just get addressed. That's probably what's going to happen.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So it
I mean,
probably
this
won't
that's
go away.
amazing patching issues.
Yeah.
And this is probably the time to do it because the game's been out for more than a year now. Where, you know, it's not like it was 6 months in and he's starting to patch things and stuff. It's no well and truly aware of where the issues are.
Yeah, and that was shared too, and I can't. That was in Discord, so maybe I'll try to bring it up here. But I mean, I'm assuming it's the same because someone shared some pictures from the stats. And I hadn't even looked at them, but where was it? Yeah, these right down like. So this is global, like the bottom representative, which again isn't surprising, but Dark Elves, Chaos Elves, like that's all of them right there. And then when you look at the winning rates, Skaven, Lizardmen, Ogres, Dwarven Mountains down there. That's a bit weird. Let me take off the expand there. Is Skaven, Lizardmen, Ogres, Empires down there, Dark Elves, Demons are down there. So like Chaos Jaws and Vamps are up there, but then when the podium rates are Skaven, Lizardmen, Demons, Ogre Kingdoms, Dark Elves, Chaos Jaws are right down the bottom in terms of the distribution of how often they get into how many. It's not so much it's how many first, seconds, and thirds they tend to get, which is still way down there as well. So they need help. If we want to keep them in, we have to support them, and Games Workshop aren't supporting them. So I'm totally on board with seeing where it goes.
Otherwise, it's become less and less popular in the like competitive community. I'm on board.
That podium disparity. Sorry to interrupt. That podium disparity was just crazy.
It is, isn't it? It drops off. Like you see it.
Skaven compared to
look at that.
Those top ones. Like
there's a big step, isn't there?
Yeah. They're just like Empire, like these guys. And Empire struggled. Beastmen, Wood Elves just haven't had their stuff out yet. So I would imagine they would bump up a bit. Obviously, Vampires are the only ones that are staying up there. The rest of them just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
So, and that's obviously partly because of the faction tournament appearances that does it. But still,
And the Vamps didn't really get any buffs, did they? In the league, in the Renegade.
No, well,
now
they
got the little nerf of the Wailing Gird.
Well, you can take a Vampire Lord now and do stuff with them. So if anything,
so that's internal rebalancing more than anything, isn't it?
Yeah. If anything, they got debuffed for sure. Now you can't stack the Mortis engines, and you also can't whale out of combat. So at least,
they're the only competitive legacy faction at the moment.
So having said that, is anyone doing any? Because someone did an Old World Builder patch so far. It's not. I don't think it's released, but I just forked it and ran my own, so I can play around with. Because I can't build armies unless I got an army builder.
Yeah, me too.
So I started playing around with my demons, and I know I'm just wondering if any of you guys. I guess Andrew, Josh, you've sort of got demons, but not really. You need to souped up modified army list to get yours going, because yours is the total homebrew one.
The cult. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that.
I did actually try to regenerate that automatically. Yeah, it was a bit too. I've got another idea to try to do it automatically.
Love it. I love it.
Pull the stuff out of all the main ones and make its own. So I might have a look at that.
I actually have a burgeoning demonic army at this point.
Oh yeah, you do.
I've been painting plague bearers, bloodletters, horrors.
Perfect time too, because now you can take all of them. It's not just
happy coincidence.
All I need is to do a few, print off, get a demon prince and some
base adapters,
some flyers, and then I have a demonic army.
Yeah.
Andrew, though, you've got a couple of them, three of them, Skaven, Chaos Dwarves, Vamps.
Oh yeah. But Vamps are good. I rate Vamps. I think they're at a good spot.
Yeah.
Chaos Dwarves, there's just like certain builds that people use. I think that's the issue. Is like it's a lot Tomb Kings and Bretts. Probably, there's just those builds that are just quite strong.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes them. what they are.
Yeah. Yeah, we usually see what happens with those factions as the more heavy comp becomes more common as well.
Yeah, true.
Because there's a lot of it. The last month or so, we've had so many tournaments coming up with really heavy character restrictions and flying
I've not
restrictions.
seen the one you were talking about, the teams on, so I'll have to. The Snake Eyes one. Did you say something about their?
Yeah, the Snake Eyes
Okay.
one.
Yeah, I haven't caught up with that.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I need to read up on that.
I wasn't.
Well, I'm
I'm
not
not sure
going
it
to
is.
it, so yeah.
I've got it.
Oh,
I've got it here.
I'll throw it up and
there's-
then I can finish off with my
time
hobby.
for a little touch.
Can I throw it up easily? I don't think I'll be able to zoom in my browser.
Can you talk through it? Surely.
Yeah, I
it's
can
not-
talk through it
Yeah.
without showing it. I can just talk through it. Because there's two main things. So it's teams of 3. There's a team comp rules. So each player has to use a different faction, including Army of Infinity. If you know what I mean. So you can't have a Wolves of the Sea Force and a Heralds of the
definitely.
Darkness Force.
That makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That's an interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but yes, that makes sense.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Each team of 3 can only have a total of 8 levels of magic spread between the 3 armies.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
That
Which
is big.
Yeah, that's
So
massive.
no, you can't have 3 level 4s, but you could have 2 level 4s in one army and no, like if you took dwarves. Oh, hang on, they're levels of magic. How does runesmiths go into that?
So,
Ooh.
Anvil of Doom and Cask of Souls each account for a magic level of 1. I'm not sure about runesmiths and that type of thing.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I'm sure that's been asked and clarified somewhere. What was the other one?
Runesmiths they don't cast spells. They're more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, so they probably don't count. Then I would
Yep.
imagine. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but yeah, I'd imagine not. And then magic items that aren't extremely common are unique and can be taken more than once across the whole team. So, like your common magic items, you only get
That's
one
good.
version of each one, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the army comp rules itself for each individual army, it's a 30% limit on characters.
Ooh,
Yeah, 30%.
30% total in your army.
Total
for
in your
2,000
army.
point.
So 600 points on characters in your army.
Yeah.
Just like, holy crap. So that's what I mean. Like, this seems to be dropping every week. Something we have a new comp that's less and less character allowance. And then I think it's a rule of 6 for core, and 0 to 3 for character special and rare, which is not uncommon. And yeah, that's it actually for comp.
Okay, so it's really
That's
the
it.
character one, and some clarity around how you play in a team environment with the other ones. A little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Sort of.
So,
I
yeah.
mean, you can't take the common in your own either. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the magic item limits, the magic level limits, and the character percentage limits are all
Does that
Quite
sound like
interesting.
then it's more of a slightly cut down Aussie comp? Because the Aussie comp
little
was
bit.
33% carries now. I can't remember, was it?
Yeah, 33 because it was
So it's dropped from
666.
that, but you
So
could,
1/3.
it didn't have it. I can't remember. It didn't have a. I don't think it had a wizard level limit, did it? It just because I mean, you only could take
No.
a certain amount of characters anyway.
Yeah. I think the implicit nature of that comp. Yeah, with the character allowance being so low, I think they felt like that was already enough restriction on.
Yeah,
on
but they
magic
had
levels.
the one rare one, the 2 special. Like they had more.
Yeah, they had
things
no
there.
duplications.
Mm.
And no duplication of extremely common magic items. Was the other one that the Aussie comp had.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
it's an interesting way of nerfing the like ogre blades and stuff as well, just by making them unique across the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a specific type of comp that can't be replicated in any
Yeah,
other
yeah.
context.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
right.
a very interesting way of doing it.
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, I don't mind it, especially in the team environment. It's really cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
They didn't do anything faction-wise, though, apart from they can't duplicate it. Like, you don't have to, like... They're not trying to make evil versus good or anything like that. That's more narrative, I guess, sort of what they do with heresy.
No, yeah. They've just left it open to people, which is whoever can find.
So what's the deal there? Are you guys joining a team? What's happening? Because I'm not here. Are you guys? You're not going down, Andrew?
God no.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh will have to do it. He'll have to have a ring-ins.
Josh, represent. Yeah.
I don't have a team at this stage, so yeah, I'm not sure if I'm free that weekend. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. It's hard. It is harder to actually tee up a team. Paddy was keen on joining me if we could find a third, but yeah, I don't know. I'm currently working that weekend, so I'd have to swap with someone to get the weekend off as well. So if we're going to do it, I sort of need to do that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it a bit of a premium event, like ticket cost wise as well?
I have no idea how much they cost. I think it is
run
booked
good
as
ones, though, haven't they? Yeah.
It's $270 per team.
Oh, team.
It's an early bird, so $295. So it's almost $100 for each player.
Yeah. Because I bought. They always have done good ones. So
yeah,
I'd like to make it down there at some point, but it's just busy. But the cool thing is, I felt like I had to support certain tournaments, and then now I'm getting less like that because there just seems it's getting busier. So now you go, oh, cool. Well, I'll go to my local ones and then do a big trip once a year or whatever to CanCon or whatever it is, and I don't feel stressed that I haven't supported the community.
Yeah,
it's like it just seems like there's just more and more taken off.
Because there's plenty taking off. Yeah,
it's good. I think Queensland or South Australia maybe just finished one last weekend, 24 players or something. So like they're getting up there, just even for the smaller places. So anyway, let's close it off with some hobby, people, unless you've got anything else to chat about.
Not really. No, go for it.
So you don't have much. Do you want me to just do mine or?
The main hobby I did was, actually was playing Six Head for about 4 hours yesterday.
Right, cool.
The campaign round, which was just kind of fun. I was playing. I won't go through the game or anything like that.
Ah, cool.
But
and are you getting us an update on that?
Kings?
Like, is there no pod one, or will that just be on the wiki?
So I am going to Ballarat this weekend to play at Uprising at a one-day Six Head tournament, and I'll probably have a record with Ben the following Tuesday or something to do a rundown on that, and maybe they'll run the campaign as well if we have time. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds awesome.
Cultus and Ash.
Yes.
For the 4. Hopefully I can work out how to use them properly. It's just so different to Bretonia. There's just so many options. Yeah. Anyway, go for it. Go on. I'm really keen to hear.
Oh, well, Andrew's got one thing, I think.
Okay.
Mine's so quick. I just made a little purchase.
Go for it.
Okay, interesting. You're doing the same. You're gonna do. Is that for washes?
Spreading.
Yeah. Well, it's meant to be, but I'll probably just put it in a box and.
Okay. Yeah. It's funny that I don't have the exact one of that, but I bought like 2 of the Windsor Newton, like the Burnt Umber and whatever the other one is, the Sienna one. But then I forgot, like I was down at my mum's the other night after I just did it, and she does drawings and stuff, and she was painting years ago, and then she's like, "Oh, I've got these oil paints. Do you want?" And they're like basically brand new, but they've been sitting in a box for 15 years or something, 10 years or something. And they're smaller, which is good because they're like that pack where you get every color though. So because I wanted a purple and stuff because that's going to be a pretty used one, I would imagine as well. So I'm going to do what you've got there, just those hobby ones. So cool. Yeah, but you haven't done anything with it. You just got them. You're going to start thinking about it. Yeah.
I got it.
No, I haven't done anything on mine.
I watched the video. I was like, "Oh, I gotta try this. I really do."
Yeah. So I started. Carl got me excited for the airbrush, and this is a bit of a mess here, but I don't have it vented. But you'll see at the top on that box is so Andrew knows. So we got a game in last week of Nomadic War versus his Seaguard, I think it was.
Seaguard.
Yeah. So. But I can't run the full ball lists because I don't have enough. So I've started buying more. And then I thought, well, why wait for the Beastman? Because painting balls with an airbrush is going to be a good way to practice as well.
Yeah.
So I've started that. I went to and I bought. I think I've got 2 boxes more to balls now. So I have 30 something, but I need to get like if I want to run the full ball one, I need like another box. So it's gonna be. So I've got how long have I got? 5 weeks.
Yeah,
So
so
I need to
a while,
paint about 25 balls, riders,
25
and
balls.
finish a wyvern. So I reckon I can do that with the airbrush.
Yeah.
So just started playing around with that. But these are mixing and then mixing, like not doing all airbrush paints, so just probably thinning it, especially with that flow improver. And yeah, I don't know, last week when Carl went, just keep the water, keep your airbrush wet. It's the best tip. It just fucking works. I'm just why didn't I ever see that before? I don't know. Like it just feels like I've got it down pat a bit, and I know I'm not even close to using it properly. But like this morning, just before doing some work stuff, taking my daughter to school, like I smashed out some other stuff, which I'll talk about in a minute. Because I knew I could load a bit of paint in, throw some stuff, and then just clean it up. like I've got it.
Yeah.
It's getting better. Like my setup's getting better. Where I'm like, I think I'll be able to use this for a lot of that bulk work, and then obviously get into the what do you airbrush, what do you not? That's going to be a whole different discussion.
Wait.
But yes,
So what do you mean when you say keep the airbrush the tip wet? Are you talking about when you're
much
using it, or you mean
tip.
between?
No, yeah, in between, just sitting there. It's got a bit of actual water in it the actual airbrush, just so nothing gets stuck in there and stuff. It just makes so much sense. Like, because you clean it all out, and even if it's clean, and then it sort of dries up, whereas this can't dry up because there's water in it. I mean, the tips.
Oh, you don't keep it in the solution. You just keep water in
no, it's just I've just got it there. And then the other day when I first cleaned them, though, I did pull them all apart and just left them in some stuff.
Yeah,
but you can do that as well. Yeah, I don't think you need to go to that level. I guess you might if you're going to leave it around for ages. But if you, especially in Australia, like that's the thing, you're just not used to. I mean, we're going into winter, but I'd imagine in summer, just keep some stuff in it. And then just learning how to clean it a bit quicker, and just also just things like when you've cleaned it all out, like taking the needle out and blowing stuff through it without the needle in it, for example. Like it just clears anything in there is going to come out because the needle's not in the way. So it'll just blow way more out, like little things like that where you go, oh yeah, that makes sense as well. So and they're all pretty easy. I don't know, I think I was intimidated about pulling it apart and which bits how far I need to pull it apart. And because I got 2 different types, I just sat there and worked and obviously watched some more YouTube things. And went, okay, it's not that hard, and then you realize what am I worried about? You know what I mean? It's not too bad. Even down to, I mean, this picture that I had up there is not actually what I'm using now. I've only got really one water dump container, which I can just blast 2 big shots or 3 shots of water in to clean out it gets rid of 80% of the paint. And then, you just blow the rest of it, backwash it, dump it again, throw a bit of cleaner in, blow it out again, and it's clean. It takes no time. I'm like, maybe this is not that hard, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'll need to obviously need to learn how to airbrush. That's a whole different bloody thing in terms of using it as a paint and not just undercoating. But that's gonna be fun. Yeah. I mean, so I started a little bit of that with these balls where I'm doing all their faces the way I would paint them, with 3 layers of it's like the dwarf flesh up to the other one, and it's you just mix it in and you mix the paint with the backwash method as well. You know what I mean? You shove your finger or the cloth on the end of it and just bubble it through so it just mixes it. You don't even have to. Yeah. So little things like that, which I'm like, okay, I should do this. But anyway, so I'm getting 30 balls I've got to do. So we'll see how we go. I just constructed another 10 yesterday. And then playing around with the airbrush, I started painting this troll just to see how I can do that guy as well. So with the different colors and just grading up his stomach and stuff. And it's coming out okay. These are just quick jobs. I haven't finished him. I was just fiddling around with it. I was like, it's not too bad. And with this one, I was playing around with, as I highlighted up his stomach and stuff, I then overshot on the other bits, like his leathers and stuff, so I could contrast it. Even the leather thing around his neck, I airbrushed that with the real lighter color, so I get to come back
Oh,
and
yeah.
airbrush it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
contrast paint it. So just
Mhm.
playing around with that to see how accurate I can get it, if you know what I mean, without being
Mm.
too, because and he's nowhere near finished. Don't get me wrong. I was just doing a bit of a test, but compared to how much he took with the brush, because the contrast paint's pretty like it's that gloom one. It's not. I don't know. It doesn't go on that. You have to do multiple goes at it and layer it up, and this just took like no time. Like it took. I don't know. Like it took like 5 to 10 minutes to get him to that cut or whatever. I don't know. Like just to get that main highlight onto him. I was like, man, I could easily do 6 trolls in one go. Not all the detail work, but the other bits.
Just the basic colors.
And I'm not even close to being good with it yet. You're just like, okay, now I'm starting to understand it. But anyway, then the Renegade kit thing came out, and I went, well, I'm going to rebase my demons, and so I was printing shit tons of bases and airbrushing them. Now I got the airbrush out to get them on the proper bases as well from the 25s, because that's the 25 that I had, and so I bought some Cesali, whatever they are.
Oh my god!
Temple of the Arcane Gods or whatever base, and I just
I
asked you about it the other day, and so I've printed 80 today. And then I'll go up to the
is that what you're asking me?
The 4,
right,
I've got to print the slightly bigger ones for the blood crushers, and I don't need heaps of big ones. I just need a few more for the blood crushers and stuff, and then they'll come up.
So you're going on the demons? All I needed was a little bit of a push with the Renegade buff coming up. Like, I'm going on demon wagon.
Yeah, well, it's not to like switch over to playing demons fully, but it's just to get that army up to old world, being able to play with it. Because right now
you'll be given some hope.
Yeah, and this is the first one. Going back to Perfidy's question, you get the right base. If you like 3D printing and you find the one you like and a certain army like this where I don't overly care about the army, I think these bases are going to come out good, because I'll just stonework. But with what I'm going to do, like some have skulls, so obviously I'll color them up. But I don't. Yeah. Tell me if you think this will look weird. So they're going to be like mostly grey, like I've got the old one that I did have there. You can see it's like rock or whatever. That was cork. So I'll do a similar dry brushy type thing. I probably won't airbrush. I'll just airbrush it to the base.
Oh, just airbrush it, man.
Well, I could airbrush, like rather than dry brush fully. But what about like glazing, or like basically, so for Zench, putting like a real fluoro-y blue through some of the cracks, like they've come out of like Zench, and then when they're corn ones, like real blood red ones, and then if I do Nurgle, like a glowy green.
That is a really cool idea.
It's the same base, but you can look at the base and know it's like a Nurgle. I don't know, like would it look weird?
I think it's really cool.
No, I think it'll be cool.
Like they've got an aura that's like on the base. Like
yeah.
That's really cool.
I reckon you would have to do a white wash or glaze first to get enough lightness in the cracks. And then hit it just with a little bit of a filter of the color, and that way it will be really nice. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I might play around with it because there's so much texture on these bases, like little cracks and stuff, so you could really like. And then you don't even need to. I probably won't put much. I might put the odd, weird-looking alien plant thing or something, or just do a bit of effects. What's it called? The dust stuff. What's it called? Pigment. I'll probably do a bit of like grey pigment or something just to blend the bottom of the figure into the grey base a bit. I don't know.
No, okay.
So they don't look like they're just standing on pristine new bases. That's the same problem.
Would you do the color on the whole base, or just like around
just in like in little bits, maybe where their feet are or something like that?
Oh, okay, just like cool. Like
so it almost looks like cool. I mean, I don't know if it'll look like it, but they've sort of appeared. They've started to pop out of existence, if you know what I mean. But having that color of what the god is, that's what I was thinking anyway. The pink horrors will look weird because they're pink and they're gonna have blue, but I mean they're Zench. What can you do?
No, I reckon it'll look cool.
Yeah, what can you do? Yeah, that'll look cool.
Yeah.
No, I
anyway,
like it. It's a cool idea.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna. Obviously, this is not a priority. I want to get the balls done. But I was almost like going, "What else can I airbrush?" I've got to get the wyvern done. Like I did that troll just as a test, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, Colin, you've got a wyvern you have to finish. That's going to be a perfect one to airbrush.
It's a classic Warhammer
And
hobby
that
distraction.
might
yeah,
even be-
absolutely.
And then-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's something else you're excited about in next minute. That's all you can think about. It's like, I just want to do this now.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's cool. The
Oh.
old printer's up and running again. So I hadn't printed anything for a while, but just pumping them out because I can fit like 20 on a thing. So, and I've got like, I probably needed about 80 or 100 of these 30 by 30s because everything's 30s on this army. I think the bloodletters, the so, and then the Furies are on 30s. I think. Ooh, are they? I have to check. And then then I've just got the other stuff like the Blood Crushers, Skull Cannon, the Lord of Change, those big ones. I just got to print the big bases for them. But yeah, it should. Yeah, I think that'll be a lot quicker. You know, the rebasing of this one will be way quicker once I work out the exact paint job for the bases. So, and I just print them. So, yeah, should be good.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
Next
that's
minute,
my
you'll be
hobby.
getting some podiums for demons.
Oh, I don't know.
Bringing
Maybe
those stats back up.
Maybe
Yep,
if
bring
they
the
were
stats back up,
corn,
come on.
my corn ones.
Fly the
look good.
flag.
Those pink horrors are a bit average. I'd probably rather airbrush them. But my Blood Crushers, I think, look pretty good. I like the look of them. But yeah, it's just red's so fucking easy to paint. You know, like it's so easy to highlight and like layer and yeah.
It is extremely
and it's easy to wash down
satisfying.
as well. So if you want like a dirt red as well, like it's just it's like the beginner's color. It's why people like Blood Angels are so popular.
They're all red.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, felt good to actually get some actual hobby done. And just the more I think about it, I was like, what can I have a go at airbrushing? So yeah, it's good. Bit of fun. Then I'll pull the oil washers out at some point. I'll do that at least on one of these. I'll probably do I'll probably test some oil washing on the boards because I don't mind if two of them look a bit weird. You know what I mean? Like, because it's going to be, this list is probably going to have, 35 ball boys or something in it. So if I do that one, that's a lot. Yeah.
That is,
cool.
Yeah, that is an insane amount.
Yeah, probably never use that many again, but it'd be fun.
No. Oh dear. Funny how this hobby makes us do crazy things, and then we spend all this time doing it, and then you would like use it once or twice, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Back to the shop.
There you go. That's it for our episode, is it? That's easy smashed into it. That's good. That was a good one. Hopefully people didn't mind us going through the stats there for a bit, but of the survey.
Yeah, hopefully.
You guys got anything else on or announcements, or you're all good, and I'll wrap it up otherwise. And I've lost my window, but that's not it.
Just wrap it up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've totally lost not that I really need it. Okay, well, we'll wrap it up. Again, if you haven't, if you've listened this far, you know all the stuff. But yeah, please like, subscribe on YouTube. Leave us some comments. Tell us what you're, if you're going to start one of those legacy factions. Help us with our basing or Perfidy with his basing. And jump over to our patreon.com/oldworldfanatics if you want to jump on there as well and support the show. Send us some listener questions for next week. I don't even know if we've got a plan yet for next week, but we must be coming up to our live episode again in a couple of weeks. So we'll get that out as well, guys. Yeah, I do have an Empire Arcane journal thing coming out as well. Ooh, if I can get it out this week. So we got Old World of Oz. Some of us,
very exciting.
ASB, myself, and Starkey are recording on Wednesday, I think, for that. And then we'll try to get the Arcane Journal out at some point as well. So that's coming. So thanks for holding off, guys. But yeah, until next time, I don't know, guys, anything else? So we'll just chat to you next week and hopefully keep rolling dice and painting and get some hobby. Sounds good.
Keep rolling dice.
Chat to you next week, guys. See ya.
All right.